keep smiling because life is a beautiful thing and there's so much to smile about. Marilyn Monroe. There will be days when life sweeps us away, making us forget the simple blessings that have always lingered by our side. An unexpected failure, a chilling rejection, an unfinished dream, or a relentless buildup of pressure is enough to shroud the mind in a gloomy mist. In those precarious moments, we easily narrow our gaze through a tiny window fraught with anxiety, forgetting that just beyond the sill, a vast and radiant sky waits in silence. Smiling has never meant denying the fractures within. A serene smile is not a mask to conceal your wounds, but a gentle reminder that the storm is merely a fleeting way station, not the final verdict on your life's journey. You have every right to shed tears on a terrible day, but please never lose faith that tomorrow's dawn will usher in warmer skies. The human mind often harbors a cruel paradox. We readily etch a bitter judgment into our souls for years, yet carelessly let countless heartfelt encouragements slip away in an instant. If we do not actively filter out the darkness and steer our souls toward the light, we will unwittingly gather shadows to weave a somber tapestry for our own lives. Life is akin to a quiet, contemplative garden. There are piercing thorns, torrential downpours, and withered leaves falling from the bough. Yet it is also brimming with the fragrance of blooms, shimmering sunlight, and tranquil dawns that soothe the spirit. If you do nothing but bow your head to count the scratches of thorns, you will miss the moment the entire garden awakens in vibrant splendor. Joy, in truth, does not demand monumental wonders. It can be the comforting aroma of a morning coffee, the poignant melody of a familiar song, an empathetic glance, a cozy meal with loved ones, or simply the fact that you still stand resilient after life's fierce tempests. It is precisely these humble, unassuming moments that are the true fountainhead of the happiness we have long pursued on distant horizons. Happiness is not a gift reserved only for when life achieves absolute perfection. Happiness is the art of embracing and cherishing life amidst its very flaws and imperfections. We cannot prevent unforeseen tribulations, but we hold absolute power over the mindset with which we face them. You can let today's gloom devour your heart, or choose to smile and whisper to yourself, though today is fraught with trials, life remains replete with beauty worth cherishing. Smile whenever you can, not because the world is ever tranquil, but because even in the eye of a blinding storm, life always quietly carves a pathway for hope. A gentle smile may not alter the world, but it holds the power to illuminate the way you walk through it. Success is walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Winston Churchill. The world often marvels at success as a dazzling pedestal of glory, where every effort is crowned with the victor's wreath. Yet, behind that brilliant radiance lies an odyssey of solitude, marked by countless collapses that the world rarely perceives. Stumbling is not a verdict of incompetence. On the contrary, it is the clearest proof that you dared to step outside your comfort zone and ascend to greater heights in life. The true danger of failure lies not in a lost opportunity, but in the subtle poison that slowly erodes your inner faith. A single misstep brings sorrow. Several falls sow the seeds of doubt. But if you let those scars define you, you will tremble at every move, burying your dreams beneath the fear of tasting another disappointment. Human instinct often craves escaping pain more than striving for reward. Thus, after unforeseen setbacks, we easily retreat into the oasis of complacency, not daring to challenge ourselves, not daring to yearn, not daring to advance, and that is the exact moment when failure truly defeats you. View every stumble as a rugged stone step upon a steep mountainside. Each stride may be drenched in sweat and scrapes, but they are raising you to new heights to gaze upon the vast oceans and boundless skies. Those who reach the pinnacle of glory have not necessarily stumbled fewer times than others. They are simply those who never allowed a fall to become the final chapter. Genuine enthusiasm need not be a blazing inferno raging at all times. There will be days when you feel drained, bewildered, and yearn to surrender everything. Sustaining your enthusiasm means guarding that smoldering ember deep within your heart, even when the world around you urges you to give up. You may pause to rest, but never quit. You may slow your pace, but never turn back. Every failure is a stern and wise mentor. If only you are quiet enough to listen. It strips away illusions, exposes vital weaknesses, and unveils profound lessons, easily masked by consecutive triumphs. Never measure the magnitude of your journey by the number of times you fall. Measure it by the number of times you rise, with your head held high, armed with sharper wisdom and a more resilient spirit. Perhaps today you have not reached glory, and tomorrow may not bring it either. But as long as your heart retains the courage to press on, the epic of your life still holds glorious chapters ahead. For the most profound success rarely begins with a triumphant fanfare. It begins at the very moment you fall bitterly, yet brush away the dust and resolve to try one more time. The future depends on what you do today. Mahatma Gandhi. There is a simple truth often swept away by the rush of life. The future has never been a distant realm that magically appears to dictate our destiny. The future is quietly sculpted through every minute choice in each breath of the present. Every morning you awaken, every instant you choose to venture forward or hesitate, to persevere or surrender, to hone yourself or stagnate, you are laying another brick to erect the monument of who you will be tomorrow. People tend to daydream about the future in vivid tapestries, yet squander the present in ceaseless hesitation. We deceive ourselves with the phrase, "I'll deal with it tomorrow." Then tomorrow turns into next week, next month, next year, and our youth slips away in regret. The greatest tragedy is not a clear failure, but thousands of days drifting silently in stagnation while we naively pray for life to change on its own. That is the invisible snare that binds our stride. Waiting for a sudden spark of inspiration, waiting for flawless perfection, or waiting for the stars to align before daring to embark. But the laws of life do not operate that way. Action is the very fountainhead that generates momentum. Only when your feet begin to move does the hazy path unfold beneath the sun. The future is like a 1,000-year-old tree. No one can discern a boundless forest hidden within a tiny seed. But if you patiently cultivate, nourish, and shelter it day by day, that seed will flourish into a sheltering canopy beyond your wildest imagination. Conversely, if you refuse to plant the seed today, never demand cool shade tomorrow. Today's efforts may seem exceedingly humble. Reading a few illuminating pages, honing a new skill, tending to your health, resolving a lingering task, or resolutely spurning petty temptations that derail your ambition. Such acts may not appear to shake the heavens instantly, yet they quietly reforge your inner being, hour by hour, day by day. And it is that profound inner strength that will shape the entirety of your destiny. Do not let your mind be besieged by the obsession of foreseeing the next 10 or 20 years in meticulous detail. You do not need to see the entire road to take the very first step. The only question you must ask yourself each day is, in this very moment, what is the most meaningful action I can take to draw closer to the person I yearn to become? The future does not dwell in some distant illusion. It pulses vibrantly within every second you live. Every action today is a vote cast for the character of your tomorrow. If you yearn for a radiant future, begin with a decisive act right now. Do not wait for the world to change before you awaken. Transform yourself today, and the future will shift in harmony with your every stride. The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. Ralph Waldo Emerson. At times, amidst the drifting tides of life, we mistakenly believe we are merely acting out a preordained script. We blame constraining circumstances, attribute our identity to the past, and believe a humble starting point will forever trap us in mediocrity. Yet deep within the consciousness of every human lies an inviolable sanctuary, the sovereign power to freely choose who we become. You cannot choose where you drew your first breath, erase the storms of the past, or stop others from inflicting pain, but you have absolute authority over how you rise from the ashes, how you answer adversity, and the horizon toward which you strive. The greatest tragedy of the human psyche is imprisoning oneself in cages of self-imposed dogma. I was never good enough. This is just my fate. I am too fragile. It is all too late. When these pessimistic echoes repeat through the years, they cease to be fleeting thoughts and crystallize into blind conviction. And when that conviction turns into chains, we willingly live a barren existence within the very confines we drew with our own hands. Yet, you were not born an immutable statue. You are a raw, pristine block of marble. Every thought, every choice, and every deed each day is a patient chisel stroke, shaping the contours of your soul. A single right decision may not birth an instant miracle, but tens of thousands of resolute choices compounded over time will forge you into an extraordinary version of yourself. Longing to become strong requires you to choose courageous actions. Longing for discipline compels you to set to work even when passion has grown cold. Yearning to become a pillar of trust demands that you honor every vow made to your own conscience. Dignity and character do not simply descend from the heavens. They are forged and built through rigorous choices. Many spend an entire lifetime pondering, "Who am I?" while forgetting to ask the awakening question, "Who do I yearn to become?" The second question opens the gateway to boundless liberation. It strips away the passive role of a victim tossed by circumstance, placing the master helm of destiny back into your hands. You do not need to become a flawless archetype molded by anyone else's standards. You only need to resolve to become a purer, more profound version of yourself each day, validating that declaration through concrete deeds. Life may thrust you through turbulent, murky rapids, but it can never decide whether you emerge from the tempest a coward or a stalwart soul. The quill that pens the ongoing epic of your life remains forever in your grasp. Never allow fate to dictate who you must be. Hold your head high and declare, "I choose to become the person of whom I am proud." For in the end, the greatest destiny is not a bestowed gift, but the resilient self you had the courage to choose and a lifetime of unwavering dedication to cultivate. The whole secret of a successful life is to find out what is one's destiny to do and then do it. Henry Ford. Countless souls squander a lifetime chasing success, yet seldom pause for a quiet moment to ask, "What does success truly mean to my soul?" They get swept away in the whirlwind of wealth, fame, applause, and the rigid yardsticks of society, only to realize, upon grasping the covetable summit of renown, that a chilling void still echoes deep within. All external glamour can never fill the poverty of a spirit devoid of purpose. Life's calling has never required earth-shattering feats that command the awe of millions. Sometimes, destiny is simply discovering that sacred flame that infuses your life with profound meaning, whether through quiet dedication, uplifting a struggling soul, nurturing a peaceful hearth, delving into the vast ocean of knowledge, or offering your humble talents to sow seeds of benevolence across the earth. The paradox of humanity is how easily we confuse the things we crave to possess with what truly belongs to our essence. We chase dazzles of light that evoke worldly admiration while forgetting to heed the tender beating of our own hearts, only to realize with bitter sorrow one day that we spent a lifetime faithfully enacting someone else's script. Purpose is like a spiritual compass. It does not roll out a red carpet for your journey, but it keeps your vision clear amidst the darkest night. When you uncover an ideal sacred enough to live and labor for, obstacles and tempests cease to be barriers that suffocate dreams. They become crucibles that temper your devotion and forge an iron resolve for the path you have chosen. Yet, discerning your calling is merely the overture of the epic symphony. Knowing the truth without taking action is like holding a treasure map, yet never daring to set sail. A mission only shines when forged into iron discipline, decisive action, and silent perseverance through the most ordinary days. You do not need to overturn the world overnight. Begin with utter devotion to the small things right before you. Each day, take one steadfast step forward. Each day, hone another facet of your inner power. Each day, offer a gift of genuine value. These humble deeds, strung together by unyielding resolve, will craft a life both luminous and profoundly meaningful. That is the purest zenith of success, not merely seizing what you covet, but ascending into the noble being you were born to be. When you find that sacred spark that makes you eager to greet each dawn and summon the courage to dedicate your life to it, you are no longer merely getting by. You are truly living a life of pride, purpose, and radiant light. For in the end, the true measure of a human existence lies not in how high you have climbed, but in whether the path you walk is truly one with your soul.